Here we're in London, backstage at Coco with a man who is an inspiration to many people, including myself, and hopefully an inspiration to many people on the African continent. Mr. Michael Franti, welcome to Afrolution.
Thank you, man.
Thank you for taking the time out to speak to us. Now, Michael's actually never been to Africa, but which I'm surprised to hear because his spirit is so African. And he's about to go down to Tanzania.
Yeah.
What are you doing down there?
Well, we're putting on this thing called the Power of the Peaceful Festival, and it's something that started in San Francisco 10 years ago. We put on a concert for a man named Mumia Abu-Jamal, who's on death row in America for allegedly killing a police officer, and we feel he was innocent. And so when he was about to be executed, there was 150 artists from around the world who put on different events. We wanted to say that his case is an emergency, so we used the number 911, which is the emergency number in America. So we put on the concert on September 11th, 1999, then again in 2000, and in 2001 the attacks of September 11th occurred. So this festival grew from like a few thousand people to now 50,000 people. We've had all kinds of artists, you know, Karis One and Digital Underground, Coup, and we had a Saba Saba from Uganda come and play a couple of years ago. And it's our way of saying to the world that we don't want September 11th to be remembered as a day of violence and calling for more war. We want it to be remembered as a day to end all political violence. And so we did one in Sao Paulo, Brazil last December. We did one again in January. And then Tanzania this year. And the situation in Tanzania is different than in America. The issue is not really so much of the war in Iraq or in Afghanistan. The issue is like different groups, ethnic groups who are coming into the country and who are all trying to get a same piece of the economic pie there and the same jobs. And now there's beginning to be tension amongst those groups. So we want to do a unity event.
Well, that's something that's needed in a big way in Africa, because xenophobia seems to be something that keeps bubbling in different places, and it does all come down to economics and people struggling for the same piece of the pie. But it's really exciting that you're going down, and I think you're going to see some really amazing things happen down there. Now, one of the things you're going to see in the African hip-hop community when you go down is the mixture of the types of hip-hop. There's the more traditional stuff, there's also the emulation of the whole American style, and one of the reasons that we're so into what you do is because you're one of the few artists who's managed to make a real global impact as a socially conscious artist, talking about socially conscious things. What would you say to an African guy who's watching the big kind of bling videos and thinks that that's the only way in terms of hip hop and moving forward?
Well, I would say that first of all, your greatest gift that you can give the world is yourself. To be yourself, to put into your art whatever it is that made you be you, your culture, your family, your roots, your community, and then your own personality. You know, I was just talking to a friend of mine yesterday who's Maori from New Zealand. He's traditional Maori. You know, he has a full face tattoo. You know, and he said, you know, people look at me and they see like a Maori warrior, and he said, but I'm so many things. Even within me, there's so many different nukus. You know, so many different traits of his personality that he wants to express. You know, and that's what I say to everybody. Like, I think there's a time to do fun party music. There's a time to do political messages, time to write love songs, time to write everything that's part of you and express it all. But remember, you don't have to just emulate what you see Jay-Z do or emulate what you see, you know, Ice Cube or whoever do. You can just be you.
Yeah. Now you've played all over the world, and your career just seems to be going from strength to strength. Do you think that the world is in a situation where it needs positive music, where it's time for change?
I think that music has this opportunity to be to both reflect what's happening in society, but also direct the way this society goes. And so, if we look at the world today and we say, hey, you know, hip hop has always been about rebellion, right? And if we look at what's happening in the world today, we have war, we have economic devastation, we have global warming, we have a gas crisis, we have negativity. So if we want to be a rebel against negativity is to be positive. To be a rebel against war is
around.
to be peaceful and to find solutions to problems economically that help people to feel safe, to help people feel secure so they don't have to be acting out violence on each other. So that's what I think we need right now is you know, music that encourages us to dance, to laugh, to sing, to smile, to give voice to our pain, to give voice to our suffering, but also stay positive as we head into the future.
Yeah. Do you think there's a market and an interest in somewhere like America for the kind of new wave of urban African music that's coming out of the continent?
Well, I think that there's a market everywhere as we travel and we see, you know, for example, in America you see Latin music, which has really penetrated America, and it's really changed the musical landscape, you know, even the language, you know. And as we see the internet grow, as we see the world become a more unified place in terms of how information is spread, then I think that certainly as time comes on. But there's so many things that are happening from so many places all over the world, and that's why I say if you be you, and you have your own stuff from where you are and where you come from, you have more of a chance to be received worldwide than if you are trying to copy what somebody else is.
Sure. Wise words from a very inspirational human being. Thank you very much for being with us. You do realize that once you go to Africa, you are going to be able to leave.
Oh, no.
You're going to be so inspired.